everyone, this is Laurel from the Dabbling Hook. How's everyone doing? And a leaf just spiraled down. It is crazy windy today. It is, what's today? Today is Saturday the 27th and it is chilly. It's cold, not chilly, it's cold. It's super windy and it is raining and it's going to rain all day. I think it's what you would call a blustery day today. It's like fall, don't want to go anywhere, sit on the couch under a big comfy blanket or wrapped up in stuff. So what are we doing today? I've got notes. I'm going to talk about a new channel I ran across, a few of my finished objects, not a lot, and acquisitions. Not a lot, really not a lot. And I have a couple of questions for you guys. So first, something I always neglect to do. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for all my yarny friends who've been here for a while. And I've noticed I got a few new subscribers. So thank you for stopping by, however you guys came across. Thank you. All right. First, I didn't mention whips. What am I working on? I am working on, I'm going to be turning because everything's loaded on the table. And although it's a really kind of blanket kind of day, the lighting looks okay today. So let's hope. So I am finally working on I'm working on both of them, but my two last custom orders that I have right now. I had shown these a couple episodes back where someone had commissioned a giraffe, but they wanted it in specific colors, so bright orange, bright pinks. So I am right now going to be mashing two patterns together. One that has a heart, and I'm basically just taking the heart. So I got to make sure I do the spacing and all that correctly, and putting it on the pattern, the giraffe pattern that she likes. So if I remember and if I can find the picture readily, I will pop in what it looks like. But all I've gotten so far is I have the two hands and I made a leg last night. I have been very lackadaisical lately. Actually, the last few episodes, it's like my speed has slowed down a lot, but I started, and hopefully I am not rustling. Last time my hair was touching the microphone a lot, but I have started the other leg, so I just need to join in the other color. So that's that. The other thing I am working on is the other custom order. Someone I work with, and I have yet to, I took pictures, but I must have deleted them, but she is my very best customer at work. Whenever I do a toy, or used to, she's put herself on sabbatical right now. She used to buy them right off. So her desk is covered with all my toys, most of the toys that I've made. And all her teammates at work have at least one on their desk. So when we moved buildings, she spread the love a little. So last December? Sometime last winter, she wanted a cowl that I made for her. And she has I am really cold all the time. I've mentioned before, especially my hands and feet and my head, because I'm always wearing hats. But her hands are super cold. So she had just gone to, she just had a doctor's visit. And one of the things that they mentioned was getting gloves. So she wanted some fingerless mitts. So I tried one pattern that I've seen that I've always wanted to try, and I think it's by, oh, good Lord. I don't think it's Lydia Crochet. I'll put it on, but it's, I think it's a fan. I think it's called a fan glove. You'd think I'd remember, but I've always wanted to try it because it looks great. But after I tried it, I don't know how I feel about it. And it could just be the yarn that I did it in, because she wanted this an off-white flecky color. So this is it, and I'll put the name on the screen. So this is it in Loops and Threads, Impeccable. And I think this is, what is this color? Tweed? It's just the tweed. So it's like a off-white color in tweed. Now, the one that she did is in a more, how would I call it? It's a yarn that looks similar to, oh, good Lord, the Boutique Unforgettable. So it looks much nicer, and the color gradation is a lot nicer. So again, it could be that. But this was definitely too big for her because she's got really small hands. So, and even though I used the, I think the pattern, she was using a 4mm, I went to 3.75. This is still too big, obviously, because it's on my big hands. And I've got man hands. Yes, I do. So, I definitely don't like it in this. It doesn't do the pattern justice. So, I have some, I have some Boutique Unforgettable. I think in the Petunia colorway, actually. I will give it a try in that. But for this person, for her custom order, I tried 2 patterns. I have a bunch. If you've ever gone in my Ravelry library, it's almost like 6,000 items. I mean, I've been on Ravelry for a while, and I used to just, anything free, I used to just save, you know, because you think you'll make it, and no. Anyway, so that was the first one I tried, just because I've always wanted to try the pattern. I thought it would be pretty, but no, this doesn't do it. So the other one I did was the recent pattern by Jada and Stitches, and this is her Falling Leaves pattern. So this is in the same yarn, Loops and Threads Impeccable, in tweed. And I used, in the tutorial, she used, I think, a 5mm hook with worsted weight. I went down to a 4.5, and it is still too big. Now, mind you, I think I can, yeah. Again, it stretches to get on my hand. I like this one, and she liked this one, but still too big for her. So, my computer went to sleep. I just made, or yesterday, I made a new one. No, not yesterday. I drove to work on Thursday, so I made it Wednesday night. It's a really quick make. So I made it again in Vanna's Choice. Excuse the rustling. No, there it is. I made it in Vanna's Choice Oatmeal. And this is in here because I am making another one, because I used a 3.25 hook for this one, and it is very compact. I can just get like 3 fingers into it. So I'm hoping these will fit her. I brought it with me on Thursday, but she wasn't in, for her to try it on. And I put my label on this one. So, oops. Oh, and I've got the squeaky chair, like I think Kim of Blue Cherub calls hers a farty chair. But mine squeaks, so. So I made these smaller, and they're very dense is the word I would use. So I hope they will fit and be very warm on her, but just in case, because they seem a little snug to me, that's why there was a hook in here, because I've just gone up. Oh, I also, for this one, for Jada's, the one that she did, she had 27 stitches that she started with. For these, I went down to 24 stitches, because it's multiples of 3, and I used a smaller hook. That's why it's so compact and dense. So for this one I had done the 3.75 hook. For this one, I'm going to a 3.5, 3.75, and the 27 was too big. I've gone down to a 3.5, and I'm doing the 27, and I'm using a different yarn, but they're still worsted, so we'll see. I'm giving her options, and if it doesn't work out, then I will just have it as a one-off on my craft fair table. For these 2 that I made, I have a couple of fingerless mitts, just one side, at my desk at work, because after a while in the wintertime, when you're working on the mouse, if you're working a lot, my wrists gets very cold. My hands get cold, but especially my wrists, and I guess it's carpal tunnel. I haven't been diagnosed, but I get a lump that forms right in here. And I do have one of those braces at work that I tie it with, but it's just for the cold. I have a couple of these at work. So worst comes to worst, I will just keep these. I'll definitely keep one here because I work from home a couple of days a week. But I'll keep one at work as backup. So that's what I'm working on, I believe. Yep, that is all. The other thing, nope, not working on. It's part of finish objects. I am all over the place today. So finish objects, scratch that. I'll do acquisitions. Acquisitions, all I have are the impeccable yarn I bought for this. And I bought, this is not, I had used this actually for, I lied. These, the smaller ones that I made, are made in this, which is the Studio Classic yarn in cream spec. And then I had bought some Thick and Quick for some hats that I will talk about in, man, I am all over the place today. Some hats that I had to ship out, and I was going to do a little clip of what they looked like, and I completely forgot because I packaged them up and it was all tied up, and then I remembered I did not. So I will put a picture once I get to finish items. But the only other acquisition I bought were, is there a picture of them? No, it's from this vendor, and it's Ashley, I think, I don't know if it's Leathers. It's not, it's Leither, Leather Company. I actually saw the hooks on, oops, and there that goes. I actually saw the hooks on the Proper Pineapples, one of her episodes back. I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 episodes back. And I thought they were really pretty. And then when I went to look, she was having some sales. So I happened to make a purchase. And I bought these. So there's this hook, that hook, and this is like a shawl pin. It's very short though for a shawl pin. It's very short. But I bought this because, you know, my color is yellow. Would have been better if it was yellow and red, but yellow. And I bought this in a 4.5, which I used to use H hook a lot, and I seem to use the 4.5 a lot more now. It gives me a gauge that I like better. The other one that I bought was a 10mm hook. And it's pretty, but it's too short. I didn't realize that. It's just, I don't hold my hook like that. You know, I hold like this. And then this part here digs into my hand. It's just way too, oops. Compared to this one. See, there's room here. This one, not so much. And this, where it would stand really nice, it just digs into my hand. And it's just, overall, it's just too short. And this is really short too. I don't know about that. You can't do much on here. It's just, it's a really short shaft. It's not enough room there. So, this will be a giveaway. I'm not going to do anything about it today, but on my next episode, I will figure out why. But it's gorgeous. I mean, it's just, it's really pretty. And I'm really sad because it's my fault. I didn't really check. And I need to check to see if anything on the site said how short it was going to be, but I did not check. And like, this is way too much. You can't really do anything. Especially because it's big and it's for bulky yarn, you can't have that much stuff on here. So, anyway, and then this little shawl pin, which is cute. So this is staying with me. I never did test it out. Look at that. I guess it works, but it is short. It needs to be longer because it can easily slide out. But anyway, so that's that from Ashley Leather, I will say, not Leather, Co. And she's on Etsy. So hopefully that focuses. Comes in this box. It's a good thing it wasn't something breakable, because this was wrapped separately, and I think only this was in the box. And when I picked up the package, you can hear it rattling around a lot. So it was a good thing, or maybe it was the small one that was in the box, but whichever one was in the box, it was rattling around a lot. So it was a good thing it wasn't anything breakable. Okay, so that is my acquisition. What am I wearing? This is what's the word I would use? It is the precursor to my Leona beanie that I have on my in my Ravelry store. When I first tried to figure out what I wanted to do with it, this was the first, pardon the hair. This was the first incarnation of it, and it wasn't, I can't remember what it is that was just not working out for me when I was done. So the Leona beanie is slightly different, but I kept this one, and this is in the dollar yarn that was on Lion Brand, and it's gone. The wool spun, which I love. Ooh, tip for the wool spun: if you have it and you have like leftovers, like even like 12 inches or whatever, I think it's like 4 or more plies of this. They make great sewing. Like if you need to sew labels on, sometimes when I'm doing it, I would, if it's a regular worsted weight yarn, I would take apart the plies and use one ply to sew the label on. But when you separate the plies, they become like roving and they break really easily. This is awesome for that. It's really strong. Really, really strong. It could take a good pulling. What I do too, if I make pom-poms, I use that to tie the pom-poms, because you know, especially when you have a big pom-pom and you use the regular worsted and you pull, it could snap easily. But if you unravel this and use 3 of the strands at once to as you tie for the pom-pom, that works. It is really strong, and it's great for, like I said, for sewing. If you pull the plies apart, it's great for sewing. So that's that. And the other thing I am wearing is, this is my spring cowl. Sorry if I'm making noise with the microphone. So it's pretty chilly, like I said, here right now. And I live in an old house. It was built in 1900, and a lot of it still is like it was built in 1900. So it gets pretty chilly, and most people keep their houses between 60 and whatever, 62, 63. Once the thermostat says 66, you feel a chill here. So in order to conserve energy and such, I have learned to bundle up, and now I have all my, this is my corner-to-corner scrap GAN with all my bulky, so it's like a little lap size. And underneath that is another, I had done the, what's it called? The road trip scarf with all of my angel hair yarn, which is a brand from Joann's. They've reformulated it, so it's not the same as the old one. But I had the older version of the angel hair yarn, and I had used up all that I had in one big scarf, and it was huge. I'll try to, if I find the picture, I'll try to post it. So it was so huge that when I wrapped myself in it, if I were to go do anything, it would always like fall into stuff. So I got tired of that, and I decided to just bring it together, and I sewed down the front and I turned it into a poncho. And I just saw someone, I think it was on Setta's Place's Facebook page, somebody posted something where they did chains in the front, and that reminded me of that. But I just sewed mine down, which you can do with any triangular shawl. If it's really big, You can, you know, the part that you bring to the front, you can just stitch down, you know, leave an opening for your neck and stitch down, and you have an instant poncho. So anyway, my spring my spring shawl is here. And again, this is done in, no, it's not the wool spun. This is done in the, my other favorite yarn that got discontinued, which is the Big Twist Premium. So this is just, you know, an asymmetric triangle. There are a lot of versions out there, free ones as well. But this is a number 5. It's a number 4 worsted, but it's a really hefty worsted. And it's more in line with the wool spun, which is a number 5 bulky. I think they're about the same size. But I used, did I use an N 9mm hook with it? So it makes it very drapey and very appropriate for, you know, end of winter, fall, or even winter time, which I use it all the time. And you can just keep going as big as you want. So I had it on normally, but then I like to wear them the bandana style or the scarf style. So, excuse me, any rustling. All I did was I just tied it, and then I put the knot in the back, and then I just, oops, lots of noise, sorry. And then I just have it draped in the front. So it looks like a poncho in the front, because you know I like that. And it's just tied in the back, which it just came undone, but. So that's how I'm wearing it. So that's what I'm wearing. Long story longer. So that's that. Next thing. Finished objects. So I showed the 2 mitts that I finished, but it's still a work in progress because I need to make one more just to give her size options. The other thing that I finished were, where did they go? Oh. I just made another, I still can't control myself from buying like one-off colors of yarns, even yarns that I'm very familiar with, like Thick and Quick. So these are the, this is when all these different colors came out. I think it was like a year or 2 ago. So this is Coney Island of Thick and Quick. And I have that and a couple of others in one-off colors. So I'm trying to use it and make these. So this is the footbridge. And when I posted this yesterday, I think, on Instagram, I also noted that for my pom-poms, I have all the sizes except for the tiny, tiny ones of the Clover pom-pom maker. I have 5 sizes. I have the giant one, I have the big one, and the 3 other sizes that come in it. So it came 2 in a pack, and then I bought the big giant jumbo one. I hardly ever use them. Actually, my sister has them right now because I think she was doing a rug, which will never happen. So you can't keep my pom-pom makers. I'm talking to you. But anyway, I have all the pom-pom maker sizes, but 99% of the time I do my pom-poms on my hand, right here. So this was done on my hand. I don't know what it is. It's just easier. You don't carry the pom-pom makers with you. And if I'm doing this while I'm not at home and I'm done with it and I have extras, I just do the pom-pom. I just use my hand. And to make it bigger, when I would thread the, what would I do? The 2 strands, if I had this, of the wool spun, or 3 strands through this finger. That would be the piece that would tie the pom-pom together. I thread it through my finger and I wrap it around my thumb just to hold on to it. And then I make the pom-pom. And if I want to go bigger, I just spread my hand a little to make the loops bigger. And I just wind and wind and wind. And then I've become accustomed to it that I can do all the tying and stuff all on my own. I don't need to grab somebody else to do it. So that's all. The other thing that I made is my Algonquin beanie. But my pattern is done for wool spun or number 5 bulky is what I used, but I just did one in thick and quick, and I don't know if you can, yep, you can see the sparkles in it. This is the, I don't remember the color, the name, but it's basically the fisherman color with the gold thread, the gold sparkle thread running through it. So, yep, that was that. I've said it for the last, I think, 3 episodes, but I've been very slow in making things lately. Oh, the other thing that came with the hooks, you get a pattern for a, what's it called? The Heidi blanket. And this is basically the corner-to-corner stitch, or it's not a stitch. I was reading somewhere where the corner-corner is not a stitch. Single crochet, double crochet, treble, that's a stitch. But the corner-to-corner pattern, but done flat. And I believe I've seen it called, if the first time I saw it, it was called a carriage stitch or the carriage pattern. And there is a pattern that I've tried and never finished twice. It's called the mindless scarf, but basically the corner-to-corner type pattern, but worked flat instead of from corner to corner. So it comes with the pattern on the back, and then this is her card that comes with it, and you get there's a discount code on there and just some care instructions on the back. And then the other thing I was working on that like I said, I've been very slow. I started a 2-button cowl, and this yarn that I've not worked with, I bought it, I think, like 3 weeks ago from AC Moore. And I mention AC Moore a lot because it's on my way home from work. It's like 2 exits from my job, which is what, 5 minutes drive. So, you know, you gotta stop. So it's, what is it? 57% acrylic, 36% polyester, and 7% wool. It's very similar to Hometown USA, but you can slightly feel that 7% wool in it. But I'm just giving it a try. And it is, wow, it actually says hand wash. Hand wash, dry flat. It's funny for 7% wool that it says hand wash, where the thick and quick, you can put that in a wash machine. But anyway, I started this like 2 days ago, and it's gotten like almost nowhere. I've gotten like 1 row down. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, that, ooh, wrong, man. I'm not re-recording this. I've started twice. The other thing that I did, I had a custom order from that craft fair in the town where I thought it wasn't going to go well, and it did. A custom order I gotten was for fox beanies. And I had sent the person a few examples. She picked 2, and I was going to decide which one, and then I decided to just knit it instead with chunky yarn. So I used the Thick and Quick in wheat and pumpkin and black, and I knitted it, and I knitted it, and I crocheted the ears. So I actually had to mail that out because she needs it by the 2nd, so I had to get it out in the mail. So that was out in the mail yesterday. So I will put a picture in here of what it is, what it looks like. Okay, so that is all my active works in progress and my finished items. Acquisitions. Oh, okay, so I ran across a new channel. I think she has 3 episodes up. Her name is Vicky. She is British, but she lives in Japan. And the channel is Ice Flower Crochet. And I believe she does other things as well. She does blankets a lot. I only watched like 2 of the episodes so far, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe I watched all of them. I don't know. Speaking of, I'm all over the place today. I watch a lot of podcasts. I've mentioned that before. It started off with watching a lot of knitting podcasts. But before that, I don't know how many of you guys remember Fresh Off the Hook. That was run by Marcel of One Virtuous Woman. And it basically was anyone who wanted to join, they had to kind of do a little interview with her or send her, you know, what they do and all that. Basically, you had to answer stuff to join. I guess you had to make sure that you really were a crafter and did stuff. You didn't have to be an expert or anything. And then everyone had like days assigned of when they would post their videos. So that was great because it was mainly crochet. At some point, there was a little split. Differences of opinion with one particular member and so, because Marcel is very religious. And another group formed, and I cannot remember for the life of me what that was. I watched both because, you know, it's yarn and people, and I don't get into people's politics too deeply. So it's all about the yarn for me. And actually, Margaret of Sheepishly Sharing was part of that group too, and I cannot remember for the life of me what it was called. And Zoe from 24 Karat Crochet, she was also part of it. But anyway, way back then, before all of the crochet podcasts came, there was those 2 groups that I used to watch. And I just forgot where I was going with that. I did. Brain fart. Anyway, so I just remembered, wow, this is going to be a complete ramble episode. So where I was going with that is I was watching Elizabeth of the Crafty Crocheter, and I commented on her video, and she said, oh, she didn't know I watched. So yes, I watch. I think just about everyone out there. I will admit, predominantly I watch for all the yarny stuff. So if a lot of people do other life stuff, sometimes I watch, sometimes I don't. But if you're doing the yarny stuff, I'm there, I watch. Now, I don't always comment. And back then, I never commented. I do try to do it now, but I don't always comment. One, because I watch and listen to you guys while I'm in the car driving to work in the morning. Yes, I keep my eye on the road, but I set it all up. I set the episode up and I listen to you as I'm going. Every once in a while, I'll take a look and see what's going on, but a quick look. But I watch and listen to you guys. And I also do a lot of watching and listening at work. You're minimized while I'm doing my work. So I don't always stop to comment on videos because I'm working, but I am, you know, I'm making sure I'm keeping up with everyone's videos. So I watch just about all of you guys. And if I don't watch you, I don't know that you're out there. But I watch everyone. I just don't always comment on every video. So yes, Elizabeth, I've watched, I think I've seen all your episodes. I don't watch the lives that you do because they come on when it's inconvenient. Either I'm at work or actually you do late at night, which I usually, I can't watch it then. So I watch. Okay. So the new channel, Ice Flower Crochet, and her name is Vicky. So go over and check her out. Lastly, questions. I have 2 questions. One, for those of you who sell online and ship, or just in general who ship things, how do you package your items? I am not a lack of a better word, I'm not a frou-frou type person. I'm very practical. I try to reuse boxes because it's just, to me, it's just a waste. It's just how I grew up. It's just a waste to throw a perfectly good box away when it could be reused. And when I package things, I usually just, usually put it in a plastic and put it in the thing and go. I was watching, I forget what the channel was, but she was really inspiring me. And if I can remember and find it, I'll put it below. She makes little stuffies, but they're sewn ones. And she does other things too. It's not yarn related. But she's a crafter. But she is a nerd, self-professed nerd. But she loves to, packaging inspires her too. And she does a lot of things around packaging her items. And I sat there for probably a good hour or more watching some of her videos. Can't remember the name right now, but I will put it down below. And it inspired me. And one of the things that I've been looking for was the tissue paper, but I wanted one. I have a stamp that I stamp tissue paper, but it's very time consuming. And I've been looking for somewhere where I can get the tissue paper printed with my logo on it. And she had a recommendation. So I'll put her channel, like I said, so you guys can go check her out. But she's just so bubbly and perky, and her whole thing, she's really into like packaging and making everything look nice, because when you really think about it, if you open something and it looks nice, you're really intrigued and you're really interested in seeing what else is in there. And I am basic. I am basic. Like I said, I like simple things with a little bit of, texture or interest. I am basic. So my question after that long rant, how do you package your items? Like a beanie, how do you package it? Like the fox ears, it took me a while because I didn't want to totally crush everything, but I had to figure out how to, get the ears folded and do that and try to get it into as small a package as possible, because the bigger you go, you'll get charged extra for, a bigger package and all that. But I am definitely going to look into the tissue paper that has my logo on it, because I've always been interested in that. So that's number one. How do you ship your items? Do you go the extra mile, and do you add in like tons of cards and this and this and this extra? That I don't subscribe to so much. I've seen other makers who put in a card with their logo and their information, then another card and another card, and it just seems a little extra and wasteful, because unless you're putting in your business card, which somebody would need to keep to be able to contact you, and maybe something, I like to also add a little something extra when I like if somebody orders a hat and I have to ship it, I always try to put a flower in. And I make flowers a lot. Like if I finish a project and there is a little extra yarn that can make a flower, I make a flower. And I think I've shown before, I have wreaths that, I just hot glue onto the forms. Not the foam forms. If you put the hot glue on it, that melts. I usually wrap it in like a nice cloth or ribbon or something from the dollar store, and then I hot glue the flowers on it. So I have quite a few wreaths that, I think I have 4 that I've made with all my flowers that I've made, and I still have a bin full of flowers. So I like to take the flowers and put it on a hair clip, not the bobby pin type, but the hair clips that bend, and I always include that. So I did that of the fox hats that I shipped out. There were 2 adults, one for a boy, one for a boy, one for a girl. And for the girl one, I made a flower of the same color, and I put that on there on hers. So my second question is, what do you do in the wintertime for photography? It seems nice and bright, at least to me in this, but taking a picture in the wintertime is awful. You wake up in the morning, and I craft mostly at night, at the end of the day at work, and I finish things at night. So I can't take a picture at night because I don't have a dedicated space to take a picture. I don't have lighting. My house is full of color, so the walls are all color. This room I'm in, it's like a orangey, salmony color on the wall, more orange. And then my other walls are all yellow. You can see they're all yellow down here. So when I try to take a picture, there's always that yellow glare, and if I try to edit it too much, then you can tell it gets overly edited. So I don't have a space. And I thought about getting the little photo boxes, but that works fine for small things, but I use bulky yarn, plus we do big things, and it's on a mannequin, and I need somewhere. I don't have a white wall, basically, to photograph things. And even if I try against this door here, the door is white, but the lighting, there's so much shadow and everything. So what do you guys do for holiday, not holiday, for fall, winter photography? Because on a lot of the articles and other makers who've written about it, photograph is or photography is key. Having a nice picture is key. I myself, if I've gone and looked at a picture of something and it's a grainy, not so great picture, I will pass it. It's the first thing you see because you're not there to touch it yourself. So I like a good clear photograph, and I do use a couple of what I think are good apps. Snapseed, which I think is great. I use that along with another app, PicCollage. I don't think it's PicCollage, but it's only on the iOS, so which is why I have my iPad and I can't get rid of that Apple thing because I like using that. So I use a couple of apps where I, help things brighten up a bit, but I don't like to over process the photos. But this time of year, you're stuck inside and the lighting is terrible. So what do? How do you package and ship? And what do you do for photography or photographs in the wintertime, especially the wintertime where it's just, seems like it's just dark and depressing all the time. So that is all I have. Stay tuned for my farty chair giveaway for the hook. I will put her in from her Etsy store down below, so you can check it out. We'll see. I haven't decided what I want to do for a giveaway yet. I just did one, actually almost 2 back-to-back, so I'm going to wait a little bit. I may wait till I hit 1,000 subscribers, which is going to be in quite a while because I'm only at, I think I'm close to 800, but not quite there yet. So we'll see. I might change my mind. As Wendy Williams says, I'm a woman. I'm entitled to change my mind. No, I don't believe that really, but I am entitled to change my mind just because I'm me. So that's it. The minions and their dad went to the gym, so I had time. And now it's getting grayer and grayer, so I am going to go. And hopefully I did not rustle too much. I apologize if I did. I'm going to cozy up. We are going to dinner soon at the in-laws. So, oops, I just did it again. So I think I have a couple of hours before, so I am going to cozy up and work on the giraffe. And I will talk to you guys later. Oh. I totally forgot. I took one sip. Oh, and now lukewarm. But Karen of Happiness is Homemade. I did the I told you that I did the wine. My favorite wine is a Merlot. I don't indulge often, but when I do, it's a Merlot. But one of the things I love to do is I add it to cranberry juice. It's great cold, but it's even better if you warm it up. Warm up the cranberry juice and add the wine. Give it a try. It's lovely. And on that note, have a good day, guys. Bye.